Everybody, we are back with another episode of Talking Back. Today's guest is Jake Crain from Crain and Company. That is a daily college football show seen on YouTube. Jake has pretty much seen and done it all. He's got a background in broadcast journalism. He's been in coaching. He's been involved in sports at an athletic level. So we were able to touch base on a lot of different subjects. So this is one that I think that you will find very entertaining and highly informative. So let's check it out. Again, Jake Crain from Crain and Company. All right, everybody, we are joined today by Jake Crain from the nationally seen Crain and Company show. He's been good enough to take some time out to speak with us about the college football season. And we know this is going to be probably a wild one, as it's the last one that we're going to recognize for quite some time with all of the changes that are coming to the game. So on that note, what are some of the things that you're looking for this year that you think maybe that you're going to savor a little bit more than maybe you do most years, just because of all the stuff that's on the horizon for next season?
Yeah, well, first off, Michael, it's great to be joining you, man. I appreciate you having me on. I obviously, with the way the conference realignment's gone, with USC and UCLA having their last year, and the dinosaur that is the Pac-12, who knows how that's going to end up. Obviously, staying out there, you look at Oregon and Washington too, now going to the Big Ten, and then obviously Texas and Oklahoma. They've been a staple of the Big 12, the two biggest brands in that conference, now coming to the SEC, which I'm really excited about. It's kind of, I wouldn't say bittersweet, but there's some portions of me that are kind of nostalgic about it already. But then there's another part that's really excited about how it's going to look when they come over and dance with the big dogs in the SEC. I would love to say that I'm going to miss divisions, but I'm not. I've been advocating for this since even before I got into sports media. I think the best scheduling formats are the ones where we have the two best teams playing each other in the conference championship game, and being able to have in a 4-year playing career, being able to play every team on the road and at home within that 4-year span, I think is the best way to schedule while keeping those annual rivalries, the best ones, intact. And we hear a lot of talk, Michael, about some of these, I wouldn't call them peripheral rivalries, but some of the rivalries that aren't as big as the others going away. Well, number one, you're still going to play them eventually, but nobody talks about the rivalries that are going to be created. I mean, I can't wait to watch Florida and Oklahoma play. I can't wait to see what kind of rivalries that we didn't think would be created, get created because of some of this movement. But, outside of that, man, I'm excited to see some of the changes. Some of the changes I'm not so excited about. But, man, to be honest with you, I'm just glad football's here.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you on the non-divisions. I've always thought that the best team should play. The only thing, it could be kind of clunky with 20 teams because you're only going to play eight.
Yep.
You're only going to play nine. Someone could get the luck of the draw and play none of the good teams and be one of the top two. That's my only reservation about no divisions in the world of the super conference.
Yeah, well, it's math. The more teams you add in the conference, the more conference games that you're going to have. That's why you're going to see the SEC go to 9. Everybody will be playing at least 9 conference games, including when they add more teams. You may have more than that. Now, since the playoffs expanding, you're adding more games there. They're not going to add more games to the regular season. You wouldn't be able to get away with saying you care about player safety. But on that note, and in aggregate, you're right. I mean, it's going to come down to a lot of tiebreakers in some scenarios, too, that we're going to see, especially until these conferences add games. But I could sit here and say, look at the Big Ten and say that you have the Big Ten West compared to the Big Ten East. And you can make the argument that the 3 best teams in the conference are sitting over there in the East. And then you look at the way scheduling works there. You have one cross. You look at Wisconsin. Their one crossover game that matters is really against Ohio State, and it's at home. They don't have to play Michigan. They don't have to play Penn State. So I think in some cases you can make that argument, probably in most cases. But there are scenarios in which the divisions don't give you the best games either, or the best matchups. And you know this, Michael. There's not a conference that's going to have equal schedules across the board. That doesn't exist because teams go up and down.
Right. And I've always said that an equal number of conference games is great, but still not all conferences are created equal. So
Very true.
that is what it is. Switching a little bit away from football and more to you and how you arrived at this road. You had an athletic background. You played baseball, which I don't know if a ton of people know.
Yeah.
Could you hit the curve?
Yeah, I could, man. I messed my shoulder up early in my career in college, and I had opportunities to play football at smaller places. But baseball was always my best sport, and wanted to
Okay.
play Division 1, and knew I always wanted to get into coaching. And didn't know if I wanted to get into baseball coaching or football coaching. Decided to on football because at the end of the day, it is my favorite sport, and I do
Mhm.
love it the most. Not a lot of people, within that know me really well know that. But I'll say this: coaching 9 years, six at the Division 1 level, was unbelievable. And then when COVID hit, I was coaching up in Montana. The university sent the players away, sent the coaches away because nobody knew what was going on. So that was the first year, really, kind of the early signing period in recruiting, and went back, man, and bought a $50 microphone and just started, found somehow. I'm not a technological savant by any stretch of the imagination, but found a way to get on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, just audio, and it blew up. Ended up getting offered by some investors to move to Atlanta and put it on video. So I decided to do that. Was interviewing for the defensive coordinator job back where I was before I got into the podcasting scene. Decided to see us try my hand at this. And within 6 months, Colin Cowherd picked us up for the volume, had a 6 month deal with them, blew it out of the water. And during renegotiation, Ben Shapiro reached out to me on Twitter and liked what he heard, and wanted us to do their sports show. And yeah, man, we're on the Daily Wire, but we're not political really, outside of just not having men and women's sports. But I think
Right.
that's just common sense. I don't even think that's politics.
Are you surprised with how quickly you ascended up the ranks? You said you had the 6 month deal with Colin, and then it just kind of seemed like it really snowballed. A lot of people have to grind, have to put in their time, maybe work at a TV station, do all these things. But it
Yeah.
seemed like you got noticed pretty quick, and the ascension was pretty fast. Did you sometimes kind of look back and say, man, that doesn't happen very often?
Yeah, no. To be honest with you, I'm just waiting to wake up from a coma, and then to tell me, what truck hit me. I'll say this: I think a lot of the best things happen organically. Timing is everything, and during COVID, that there was a lot of situations, and everybody who's listening to this knows what I'm talking about. You had to kind of autocorrect or do something with your time. And I'm not going to sit here and say I had some sort of master plan for this to happen. I think what it is, and look, I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn, but I was a broadcast journalism major in school, so I do have a background in knowing what to do behind a microphone. And then obviously I was raised in a household with a guy that played in the NFL and coached for a long time, and sports is what we did. So we speak that language. And I've been able to have a career before this where I was behind the scenes and was able to see the sausage being made. And I think it was just kind of a combination of my different experiences in both realms, and then the timing of everything that happened. And I've been very fortunate and very blessed. And I mean, we're almost at 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I can't believe that. And that's just YouTube. It's not counting the Daily Wire. It's not counting audio downloads. So I don't really think about it a lot because I'm
Mhm.
used to grinding. I get up at 4:15 in the morning and go to work, and we cover every sport. Obviously, right now during football season, we're heavy into that, and that's kind of our forte. That's my best dish, as I like to say. But no, it's been a wild ride, man, and for only being really 3.5 years in it, I feel like we're still just getting started though. So I'm excited for the future.
Is it cool to get to work with your brother? And is that something that also developed organically, or did you say, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
getting a show. Do you want to be on
Yeah. So yeah, it's really cool, especially talking about something we love. I mean, we're obviously, if you ever watch the show, we're really passionate
it?"
about it.
Mhm.
When I started out, and it was called the J Boy Show, it was just me. And then I got moved to Atlanta, and he was helping, behind the scenes, kind of as like a producer or whatever, because he was coaching, and he was like, "Well, if you're going to do this, I want to help." I'm the older brother; it kind of works out like that. And so eventually, he moved to Atlanta, was helping produce. And it's funny; it's a funny story. So I started out, the investors put me, I was in a studio in Buckhead, makeshift studio, this agency, and we would shoot it there. And David Cohn was the video company, owned the video company that was
Mhm.
shooting it on video. And my brother would, help talk to him before I'd throw, things at him and hypotheticals. And so when we get signed by Colin, after we flew out there and had dinner with him, we got moved to the College Football Hall of Fame on video, and the investors didn't know, and Cowherd didn't know that I was going to bring David, who was going to be doing the switching and talking. He played quarterback at Michigan. The guy knows
Mhm.
ball inside and out. And then my brother, who played wide receiver at Western Colorado, was going to handle the chat because I wanted to have a live interaction with the fans and the audience. So he was going to read questions from the chat, comment every now and then. And I'll never forget, the first time we go live was the first time they ever knew that my brother was going to be on there and Cone was on there. So we go for the hour. I get done, instantly get a call from one of the investors, and I'm like, well, this is either going to be really good or really bad. He called me and he was like, man, I had no idea you were going to do that. It was awesome. We got to keep doing that, whatever, whatever. So, now if you look, Blaine operates the chat, asks the questions and reads the donations and offers his opinion. And Cone obviously offers his opinion and helps produce the show. So, man, that happened organically too. And being able to start it, how I started it, and kind of get it out of the mud the way I got it, and then bring them with me is it's really cool, man.
And it looks like you guys are just really just having fun, even though it's early in the morning. You're having fun. It almost seems like it'd be three buddies talking in the basement over watching a football game. Is that kind of what you think maybe
Oh
some of the
man,
appeal is?
that man, you nailed it. You nailed. That's the vibe we want to go for. Like it's what I say is I want it to feel like you are buddies with a couple coaches and you go hang out at their house and you talk ball with them and they're your friends, right? Like they're not just, it's not, oh, I'm hanging out with this guy that I don't really know. We want that vibe. That's why I started it, because I really felt like in a lot of these shows it's very corporate. There's a lot of fake arguments and debates that get set up, and guys are arguing stuff they don't really believe in. And we don't sit there and argue the whole time, but we'll go back and forth. Sometimes it does get a little bit heated, just like it would if you were with your buddies watching football. So I think it's kind of the kind of a higher IQ version of just three guys that love football, talking, chopping it up. I mean, I can tell you, what they're doing on defense, what coverage they're running, what combination they're running, what personnel grouping they're in. It's funny when we live stream the games. We'll have people in the chat because we'll basically call out kind of what's going to happen. Like this,
Mhm.
all right, hey, they're lining up in 2x2. Number two's on the ball. Number one's off the ball. They're probably running smash. Watch the corner on this play. If the corner bails, talking about the cornerback bails to the corner route, he's going to spit it to the hitch right underneath. It's just a fun way of kind of interacting. So you nailed it. That's why our slogan's "Win the water cooler."
Okay, cool. And I guess last thing, in some of the coaching stops that you made, you also had a little stint there, what, 2 or 3 years in a row where you were at the JUCO level.
Yeah,
Did you ever get on Last Chance U as like one of
I'm
the teams that got played in the background or anything?
I'm on 3 seasons of it, man. I feel like I should
Okay.
get invited to the ESPYS or something. I'm on the year with East Mississippi. I was in
Uh-huh.
Jones County. You can see
Okay.
me in our candy cane colored coaching shirts, which are awful, running up and down when we beat them the
Okay.
first game of the year. And then the next year, I was at Iowa Western. This was early in my coaching career.
Hmm.
I was at Iowa Western when JB, Jason Brown, whatever, was at Independence. And he was talking, oh, these boys from Iowa. He didn't
Right.
realize half our team was from Florida and Georgia.
Hmm.
We were like the number 2 ranked team in the country, and was talking trash, whatever, in his athletic shorts in his hot tub. And then we beat him 72-21. That was
Hmm.
hilarious. And then the third year, I was the defensive coordinator at Fort Scott. And my
Okay.
and my first game is the DC. I got moved up to DC against Jason Brown and Independence.
Mm.
We shut him out 33-0
Okay.
on there. So yeah, man, I was then I moved up. So yeah, you can find me on the flicks.
Yeah, I think that was the one thing with his career. He never won an opening game, I don't think, when he was at ICC. I know he had a couple of decent seasons, but I don't think they ever won an opening game under him. So you had to do
Yeah.
with two of those, it sounds like.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, women lie, men lie, the scoreboard doesn't lie. And
Right.
it was an interesting time. JUCO, man, it's a different world. I was glad to get out of it, but I made some great relationships in it, and met some really great people and some really great kids.
Yeah, that's what people say. You got to be a dog to really kind of stick with that life from both the coaching
Yeah.
perspective and the kids who play.
Yeah,
So,
it's not.
um,
Let's just say Fort Scott, Council Bluffs was awesome. I was right across
right.
the river from Omaha. Went to the College World Series. Ellisville, Mississippi. Nah, it's close to Hattiesburg, and then Fort Scott, Kansas. Man, it was like getting in a time machine. I mean,
Right.
it's the things I saw at Super Walmart past 11 o'clock at night. With I was waiting for Professor X to roll in there.
Nice, nice. Well, this has been really entertaining. Thanks a lot for coming on. If people want to find you both on Twitter and on YouTube, where is it they can look?
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun, Michael, and I'm always down to come on. Yeah, go to YouTube. It's Crain and Company, Crain and Company. Go subscribe. We're almost to 100,000. If you want to find us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, Crain and Company, same thing. Social media, Twitter, X, whatever Elon's calling it this week. You can find me at Jake Crain. It's Crain, so Jake Crain _. Or you can find us at Crain Company, just one word. Go check it out.
All right, thanks a lot. We may check in later in the year, maybe see how some of these predictions that everyone's made has been going.
Let me know. Yeah, let me know. I'm always down, especially if they're going good.
Right. All right, cool. Thanks a lot.
All right, Michael. Thanks, buddy.